Hi again then guys, and welcome to episode 40 of Tour of Japan, the review series of course for the Super GT machines of GT6. And in this episode we're featuring the final version of the Honda HSV lineup, the primary three that we will be reviewing. As I said before in this series, I will not be including base models or stealth models in this series, so this is the final HSV-10 that we will be reviewing. And this is the Team Raybrig model. This is the version that you can drive in arcade mode, which is quite handy because it means that you guys can actually test drive the car if you don't want to spend the 980,000 credits without knowing how it performs. So if you're struggling to earn money and you're looking for a Super GT car but don't want to waste money, I would recommend that you go into arcade mode and give this car a try, because it'll give you an idea of what it's capable of. Now, how does it compare to the other two HSV-10s? Well, interestingly, it's actually exactly the same in terms of spec to the Team Keihin model, which is also predominantly blue, and both of those models, the Raybrig and the Keihin, are slightly, only slightly, but slightly nonetheless, inferior to the Team Vida version, which is predominantly silver. Now, I don't want to give a wrong impression about these cars, because even though they are technically inferior, I'm not saying that that car can run away with a victory compared to these two. Certainly not. These are still very competitive cars that can keep up with that car and win races. It's just a fact that some of their specs are slightly lower. Specifically speaking, power, torque, and PP. Now, as far as weight, all three are exactly the same at 1100 kilos, making it at the good end of the GT500 spectrum as far as weight goes. This particular model sits at 654 pp, fully tuned, produces 878 horsepower, just under 500 pound-feet of torque, and produces just under 800 horsepower per tonne. So it's certainly no slouch. It's powered by a 3.4 litre engine, just like the other two, and it costs exactly the same as the other two at 980,000 credits, making it, if you don't include the stealth or base models, the most expensive Super GT car, all three of which being the same price in the game. Now, the HSV-10 is, from what I've seen, by far the most popular Super GT car on Gran Turismo. Even people who aren't necessarily into JGTC racing will probably still own one of these. Loads of people own and love this car. It's a massively popular choice for online racing, and you can understand why. It's known for its superb handling, strong brakes, and unique sound, and that really does make the car stand out. Now, it does have its downsides. It has one of the lowest, if not the lowest, torque figure of any GT300 or GT500 car, predominantly GT500. There are some GT300s with less torque, but the fact that it does have the lower amount of torque out of its rivals does mean that even though it has a good top speed, around 235, 240, it does take a little bit longer to get to those kind of speeds in real racing situations. Because sure, on Special Stage Route X it can do that, but there's pretty much no other track that can get up to those kind of speeds in actual JGTC class racing. So even though having that top speed is good, it doesn't really matter that much in the long run because you don't use it that much. None of them do. What's more important is acceleration. Now, this car has very, very good low-end acceleration, making it superb for tracks such as here at Tsukuba. But due to that lack of torque, its mid-range and especially top-end acceleration are not the strongest of the GT500 selection, especially if you compare it to vehicles like the Lexus SC430, which has a fantastic torque and power output and strong acceleration through its entire range. Now, that said, this is an excellent car in its own way. Its best points are definitely the grip and the brakes. Its worst point would be just that, the lack of top-end torque, which is unfortunate but comes with the engine. So overall, which version should you buy? Well, if I was going to advise someone, to put simply, I would recommend the Team Vida version, the predominantly silver model with the blue and red, because it is the strongest of the three for the same price. However, if you don't want to follow the crowd and buy that model just because it's slightly better, as I mentioned, all three are perfectly capable GT500 cars, which are, as I said, perfectly capable of winning races on a wide variety of tracks. And if you buy this car, it will serve you well. It's a very safe bet as far as all-round GT500 cars go, in a similar way to the GTR. So, that's it for this episode. I'll see you guys next time, and as always, thanks for watching.